Hey, y'all, welcome back to Mountain Murders Midweek.
I'm Heather.
And I'm Dylan.
It is Wednesday, August 24th.
Oh my gosh.
The end is near, Dylan.
The end of what?
The month, bro.
The week?
The end of this month, bro. And then we're going to be into the month of September.
Oh, where are we going to go in September?
Georgia. We will be covering true crime cases from Georgia.
Oh, man, we're going to be back down the dirty South.
I'm excited.
Georgia's like that.
I have some interesting cases dug up. I think our listeners are going to enjoy our Georgia stories for real.
Okay, and we'll make no references to Charlie Daniels' Devil Went Down to Georgia.
You just did.
Oh, I guess the devil's out of the bag.
You think the devil is in a bag, Dylan?
Well, only if he chose to be there.
He's too fiery.
Ah, yes. It could be. Oh, nice. I like the way your brain works. Could be some flame retardant material.
I like the way your brain works.
Okay.
It's always in like a tent or something?
Yeah.
Like a little tent bag?
See, I don't think we should go any more further down this path.
We can discuss this after the
Okay.
show. Okay, so I have a few pieces of true crime news to go over. But first, now this, I guess, could be considered a criminal case. It's a civil case, but it is... this is damn criminal activity, I'm telling you what. If I had to deal with this, I would feel like it was a crime.
I agree.
A couple in Germany, now they're an elderly couple, they have taken their next door neighbors to court over a very active rooster that allegedly crows about 200 times a day, making it impossible for them to rest. See, that's a damn crime.
I gotta say, a nuisance rooster it's a problem. I mean, it really is. And especially one that's out of whack like that doesn't just crow at certain times. That's even bigger problem. I've run into this living in the country.
Well, we have a lot of listeners who live here in Appalachia and do live out in the country. They've probably had to deal with a nuisance rooster before.
Yes.
At least at some point.
My preference, if they're properly cooped and any, because a rooster really doesn't put up that big a fight against anything they try. You know, a lot of people's like, you got to have a rooster to protect the, hens and all that, is just to have a bunch of hens. No rooster. That's my preference when I have chickens, honestly.
Really?
Oh, yeah. But banty roosters are the funniest little creatures you'll ever meet in your life.
They're pretty funny.
Because they have the biggest heart and the most bravado of any small, tiny creature I've ever seen in my life. Because you can't tell them nothing. They will fight anything, but they always get killed.
I saw a TikTok recently, and it was this young woman, and she's running down the road with her rooster in one hand and like a beer in the other, and the rooster's just chilling while she's bolting down the road. It was pretty funny.
So they've had enough, this German couple.
They have had enough. 76-year-old Friedrich Wilhelm and his wife Jutta are from Bad Salzuflen, which is in Western Germany, and they claim they haven't had a quiet day at home in a very long time because of Magda, their neighbor's rooster. This domestic bird allegedly starts crowing every day around 8 a.m. and does not stop until sundown, when the owners lock it up with their other chickens. After years of trying to reason with their neighbors about Magda, Friedrich and Jutta have taken them to court in order to resolve the matter. I guess it's Friedrich. I don't know. I'm not German. But they've taken them to court to try to resolve this matter.
Nobody could tell you're not German, honey.
Yeah, no. I don't speak German, sorry.
Well, they have great names.
They do.
First of all, including the rooster.
Magda, yes.
Right? And, I mean, come on. At a certain point, you got to be neighborly, I think, in these situations. And either try to do different things with Magda. Maybe leave them in the coop. There's something making that rooster crow like that. I would suspect. Like being away from the hens or something like that. I don't know what's happening.
How irritating. I believe I've told you the story before and maybe even to Mountain Murders, but I once rented like a basement apartment in a home.
You have covered this.
With the chickens, and they decided to roost. The roosters roosted up in a tree above my bedroom window. So for like a year, at like starting around 4 a.m, I heard the cock-a-doodle-doos.
God, that will make you want to murder a bird.
Yeah, it was a lot.
It's a lot.
But my rent was cheap, and my landlord was super cool, and it was a really nice apartment, so I endured it.
Well, that's when you get a pellet gun. Like, I don't know what happened to that rooster.
Well, there were also like packs of coyotes in the area that would run through the woods at night, which was also very alarming and unnerving when you would wake from sleep at like 3 in the morning to a pack of wild dogs essentially running through the fucking woods.
Oh, I must say, coyotes make some
But the
eerie
chickens
noises.
would disappear quite a bit.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, you start with like 30 chickens and then you're down to like 20 and then there's 5 left.
I don't think there's any creature on this earth that chickens can beat up and kill.
There was a coop, but they were more like free range chickens. Yeah. And then one of them started laying eggs in a chair, in one of my patio chairs.
Nice.
Like right by my front door.
That's perfect.
So every morning I would wake up to some eggs, fresh eggs. Yeah, that was nice.
Okay, so I guess we'll have to follow that up and see if they get a resolution there, right? Some rest.
Yeah, I mean, from a court standpoint, I'm not exactly sure what a judge could do to settle this, but it would have to fall under some kind of like noise or nuisance ordinance, right? I mean,
Well, that's going to be the key. The way those any ordinances or anything in that area are worded are going to be key to this case. They must think there's something that's being violated to reach out to the court system to find a resolution, right? So maybe they'll get some help, because for years they've been dealing with this nuisance, and that's not one of those things that's just totally out of control or insane or scary. It's just one of those mild nuisances that's constant, and that kind of thing can kind of drive you crazy.
I have a very strange story out of Alaska. And I think the fact that it's strange is because it involves a former Alaska state representative. He is a disgraced former Alaska state representative, I should mention, Dean Westlake. He was elected back in 2016, but resigned a year later after female staffers accused him of sexual harassment. He has been bludgeoned and stands accused in his he has been bludgeoned to death, and his son has been arrested and charged with his father's fatal bludgeoning. This is in Anchorage, Alaska. Police have charged 36-year-old Talon Westlake with manslaughter and evidence tampering in connection with his 62-year-old father's death. Westlake's son called 911 Saturday morning just before 7 a.m. and told operators his father was dead. When the officers arrived, they made observations that warranted a closer look at the circumstances surrounding the death. And after interviewing Talon Westlake, they arrested him, and he remains in custody without bond. It's crazy.
So you say he bludgeoned his father to death, allegedly?
So Dean Westlake, the politician, it has been alleged by the Anchorage Daily News. I will eventually get my shit together today. The Anchorage Daily News alleged that the politician, Dean Westlake, was beaten to death by his son, although there has not been an official statement released to identify the victim of this homicide. But this news source was able to obtain some documents. They claim it was the politician who was killed.
Okay.
Now, a neighbor has told detectives that they overheard the father and son arguing, and they heard someone yell, "Screw you, I'm not leaving," according to these documents. Police arrived to find Talon Westlake outside with blood on his hands and clothing. He refused to speak to officials about what had happened inside. The killing happened inside the son's apartment. Inside, police allegedly found blood on the walls and kitchen cabinets. The washing machine was also running, and the charging documents allege it appears efforts had been made to clean up the floors.
Okay.
Talon Westlake has yet to enter pleas on these charges, and there has been no information update about whether or not he is retained an attorney. So Dean Westlake was a Democrat who was elected, like I said, back in 2016, but resigned at the height of the Me Too movement because female staffers, 7 women on his staff, charged him with sexual harassment.
Well, that's shitty to do that to a woman, but I mean, he shouldn't be bludgeoned to death, or he doesn't deserve to die, but he certainly deserved to lose his job and be taken out of that position, for sure.
Also, it has been learned that around the same time, he fathered a child with a 16-year-old girl in 1988 when he was 28. So as they're starting to dig into his past, he does have a shady background.
Look, I'm going to say this. The man was bludgeoned to death, it seems, and that's horrible. Horrible way to die. No one deserves that unless they're a child molester or a rapist or any of that. Then they should be beat to death. But I got to say, I hate to speak ill of the dead. This guy looks like a creep. He looks like a creep that would be handsy with women and that would use his position to try to bully women into doing things.
Well,
and there's evidence of that right there.
You know, I don't know this man personally, and you're like, oh, we shouldn't speak ill of the dead or whatever. But see, I disagree. I think it's fine to speak ill of the dead.
Yeah.
Because just because they're dead don't make them like less piece of shit. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
they're still a piece of shit.
It sounds like, and then
Jeffrey Dahmer's dead, and he was still a piece of shit. You know what I'm saying?
Well, if they have uncovered evidence that he got a 16-year-old pregnant while he was 28, he's been doing this for a long time. He's been a piece of shit for a long time, let's be honest. And it seems to have followed him all the way up through, the height of his career, I'm sure, being a state representative and being handsy with the women in the office.
Well, 7 female staffers.
That's gross.
Yeah.
That's really gross.
It's a pattern.
And it makes me wonder if he was just a bully in life. Now it's pure speculation on the part of Mountain Murders. And was bullying his son all this time to the degree where his son, kind of lost him.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like, and like I said, I don't know this guy personally, but it almost sounds like he feels he's above the law.
Yes.
Like, oh, I can be 28 and impregnate a 16-year-old.
How did he get in
Which
office?
the math adds up. That possibly is the son's mother.
I want to know how he got into office, voted in when he impregnated a 16-year-old when he was 28. That's what I want to know. I mean, come on.
I'm not sure, Dylan.
There are absolutely no standards for our politicians of any ilk anymore.
20 years ago, that would have never been okay.
If you took anybody, and I'm not going to get political, but if you took any from any side, any party operating right now, so the leadership or any of them, and put them in front of the American people 20 or 30 years ago, the American people would have ran them out of town on the rail. They would have fucking destroyed them, and they would have never supported them in any form or fashion because they could smell the corruption on them and just pure, I don't know if it's evil, just nastiness.
We just have no standards these days. And people, it's like the further out there a politician is, just wackadoodle, the more people are like, yeah, I love this guy or this gal. And you're like, what?
He's like my crazy uncle.
Well, your crazy uncle doesn't need to be making laws for
Your
all
crazy
of us,
uncle
bro.
shouldn't be crafting
He
policy.
doesn't need to be legislating.
Anyway.
Come on, man.
So that's a developing story, and we certainly will follow that.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of crazy, we have a guy running, I believe, for lieutenant governor. I'm not sure. I think that's what it is in North Carolina. That doesn't want science taught to kids below, I think it's 8th grade or something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, he's also got a lot of really fucking far out there wackadoodle ideas. But he's the fucking candidate. And I'm just like, what are y'all thinking? You really want to, like, dumb the world down even more?
It's already
Like,
pretty
don't
dumb.
Teach kids science? Because what are you even really learning in elementary school? You're building, like, a fucking volcano and shit.
Well,
It's not even like we're really diving into...
That's science. That's a chemical reaction. Here's the thing.
I know, but I'm just saying. It's not like you're really teaching kids biology and,
They're not teaching our kids anything. Your daughter told you that she was assigned like one book to read last year in English class. And during the point when we were reading all the classics, the great American literature.
You didn't read, because I remember my sophomore year, all of the books we were reading, and I've named, and she hasn't read any of that shit. No Steinbeck, no F. Scott Fitzgerald, Toni Morrison, like none of that.
No, because they don't want them to be inspired and they don't want them to think for themselves. Oh, anyway, enough of that.
It just blows my mind.
Enough of that.
Now, here is a disturbing story, but we should talk about it because it's a little outrageous. A U.S. veteran accused of faking his own death to evade a child sex abuse investigation has finally pled guilty to federal charges. Jacob Blair Scott, age 45, was captured in 2020 after he faked his own offshore death in 2018 following an investigation into his repeated sexual abuse of his then 14-year-old stepdaughter.
Oh, my God.
The Mississippi Army vet is also a Purple Heart recipient, and he pled guilty on Monday to charges connected to his faked death, including the deployment of a false distress signal. He brought weapons across state lines and provided false information. So a Jackson County jury in Mississippi found him guilty in connection with sex abuse charges back on June the 2nd. DNA testing proved the identity of this man, Scott. It was definitively him. And he's from Moss Point, Mississippi. He was the biological father of his underage stepdaughter's child, which led to this indictment back in 2017 that charged him with 14 sex abuse charges.
So he fathered a child with his stepdaughter. Who was 14.
Seems to be the case.
Fuck this guy. For real. I hope they give him a real death this time, which they won't.
This fucker. The victim testified that Scott sexually assaulted her more than 30 times between 2016 and 2017, forcing her to repeatedly take morning after pills and wash the sheets to hide any physical evidence of the abuse.
That's monstrous.
It only stopped when the victim became pregnant, and he got very mad, according to this young girl's statement, when she refused to abort the child. Her older sister took her to report the rapes after she confided she was pregnant, but her mother didn't know the father was her own husband until the teen gave birth. And then he was arrested after the DNA test proved the biological father was, in fact, this guy, Scott. Wow. And he was supposed to plead guilty back in 2018, August of 2018. And on July 30th, just days before his court appearance, he staged his own suicide. I mean, this shit is like a fucking movie. This should be like a Lifetime movie.
It sounds like the abuse was being hidden from the mother.
Well, yeah. I mean, he was making her, this child.
Right.
Take morning after pills and wash sheets to hide any evidence.
But I'm curious why once she confided in her sister and she's pregnant now, so that doesn't go away, why they didn't tell mom instantly that he was the abuser.
Well, it sounds like this all didn't come out until this child was born. I mean, that's what I'm gathering from this. But it seems like, yeah, now everyone knows.
Oh, like maybe even, okay. Okay. Yeah. Well, he's a piece of shit. He's a shitbird.
Yeah, the district attorney, Angel Myers McElrath of Jackson County, said he wants everybody to think this 14-year-old child is the aggressive seductress that is pursuing him, because during the sex abuse trial, he attempted to blame his mental health and his failing relationship with the girl's mother for his reasoning behind why he abused her.
It doesn't matter. If she's some hopped up little fast ass 14-year-old trying to have sex with you, you're a grown man. You're a piece of shit. Okay? That is so disgusting. And for one, I don't believe that, honestly. And it doesn't matter if she's coming on to you or doing inappropriate things. That's where, as an adult,
you draw a line.
Man, you say, hey,
this is not okay.
This is inappropriate.
I'm your stepfather. You're a child. This is not going to happen. You need to stop.
Get some
And
clothes
that's when
on.
you get your wife involved and you get this child into some kind of therapy or something.
Yes.
But I have a hard time believing that there's that many hopped up little Lolita seductresses out there. They're fucking kids.
They're kids.
And honestly, most kids are grossed out by the thought of any adult. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't believe any of that shit.
No.
I don't believe it.
No, I don't believe it, and I certainly wasn't saying anything. But I'm saying even if the outside possibility, because it does happen. I mean, there are instances when a young person might come on to an older person, but it's on the adult to set those boundaries. Point out instantly how inappropriate that is, and to bring her mom into the conversation. So even if she acted like that, which I don't believe for a moment that she did, honestly, it doesn't matter. How's that a fucking defense, I guess, is what I'm asking.
It's not a defense.
Okay.
Because you're still an adult.
Yes.
He was sentenced to 85 years for the sex crimes. And this is what he said in open court, Dylan. I was a good man. This ain't who I am.
God, there should be a big Jackass style hand come out, or from Nickelodeon, and just slap him through the face when he says some dumb stuff like that.
What a dumbass. Anyway, that infuriated me, that story, and I was like, what a piece of shit.
We're cussing a lot today. I'm
We
sorry.
say fuck a lot. It's okay.
Well, we do, but, still.
All right. I have a story out of Texas. A Houston man. Oh, by the way, that story came to us via Oxygen News. This is a People True Crime News. A Houston man who authorities allege stuffed a woman's dead body into a moving box last month has been charged with her murder. The medical examiner's office identified the victim as Flor A.D. Vega, and according to KHOU TV reports, two women found a bloody U-Haul box, like a moving box, in their apartment complex parking lot back on April 17th. And inside the box, the Houston police found a decomposing woman's body. Now, witnesses allegedly told detectives they saw 60-year-old Miguel Angel Marino rolling the box out of his apartment and into the parking lot. Police said they also have surveillance footage of him using a dolly to transport the box. He was arrested 2 days later on a charge of tampering with evidence, specifically a human corpse. But now the medical examiner's office, after having performed, their autopsy, have determined that Vega died from blunt force trauma. So now it is considered a murder investigation. Now, her body was wrapped in a green fitted sheet and plastic wrap placed in this moving box. She had broken bones to her face, and her injuries were consistent with being attacked with like a machete or an axe.
Oh my
Some
God.
type of object like that. Fucking horrific.
Yeah, horrific.
And then to just dispose of her in the parking lot, one, it's like, so she's just a piece of trash. You just fucking put her in a box and throw her away. But two, are you stupid?
In a cardboard box.
Like, somebody's not going to find that box.
Just leave the box.
It's just like, hey, might as well just take her body and dump it at the police station and just stand there with a sign that's like, I did this. You're an idiot.
Well, most murderers aren't very smart, but that wasn't thought out at all. Well, thank goodness, though.
We don't want them to get away with it. I'm just saying,
but no, that is
fucking
stupid.
Dumbass. During a search of his apartment, they found drops of blood in the kitchen, bathroom, and living room, along with a mattress that appeared to be covered in a, quote, biological material. And the green sheet and plastic wrap were consistent with what the victim was found wrapped in. So obviously they had a second pair of these sheets, or
they tied the sheets back to the apartment.
Pillowcase, what have you. And then of course the plastic wrap they found in the apartment.
Of course, with a note written out about how I just killed this woman and thought I could dispose of her in a cardboard box. And by disposing of her, I mean dragging it around until the blood soaked through and then leaving it in the parking lot.
Moreno's attorney has said that his client hasn't been the most cooperative witness, and they're still trying to figure out how the victim and the suspect even knew each other. There's a lot of evidence to go through, and he's currently being held on a $500,000 bond for 2 charges of murder and tampering with evidence.
That's interesting.
It's kind of wacky.
It's scary.
Well, it is.
Too, because this person's a totally out of control monster who there's no kind of calculation or there's something there. He just did a thing and treats someone like a piece of trash. So, you never know. You just simply never know who you're living next door to or what the person you pass in the grocery store is capable of. You truly don't.
Have you ever passed someone and they gave you the creeps and you felt like this person has done very bad things?
It's not even just the creeps. It's like just a undeniable energy of just pure evil.
Like you get a psychopath energy from someone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you get away from them as fast as you can.
Absolutely. Yeah. I don't like that feeling.
Me neither.
I don't want to go sit down in a restaurant and have my server scare me.
No.
The whole time I'm thinking this person's going to grab a butter knife and cut my throat or something.
Oh, God. It's dull.
Yeah, I had a friend years ago, just out of the blue, text me, and he was like, I went into a sub place to get a sandwich, and the person that made my sandwich, he's like, that girl had such bad energy. She scared the shit out of me, and I immediately wanted to just be like, that's okay. I don't even want this sandwich and leave.
Yeah, I'm not hungry anymore.
Because she had such bad energy.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa.
That's
Well, one, that's random. Thanks for sharing. And two, like, maybe you shouldn't eat that sandwich.
yeah. I don't think I could eat the sandwich.
Because it's probably laced with something.
Honestly, I don't think I could eat it. I would be freaked out. That's like when you go to a restaurant with someone who complains a whole lot and keeps sending food back. I don't want to go to a restaurant with a person like that because I typically will not complain to that. I will not send anything back. Okay, if I ask them to take it and I truly can't eat it, it's got to be horrible for one, and I'm just not going to eat. Just take this and remove it from my bill, please. And I'm probably not going to go back to that place and eat. But I am not going to send it back to the kitchen. Because if you don't think there's some fucking knuckleheads back in the kitchen of any restaurant, from a fast food joint to a 3 or 4 star restaurant, that would mess with your food just because, you're crazy.
Over the years,
Because
I've
it's a running-
worked in enough restaurants to
It's-
know what some of the kitchen staff is capable of.
It's running
all I'm
joke.
saying.
It's a running
And,
joke
yeah,
in most kitchens.
You
So
just don't mess with people
no,
who prepare your food.
you do not mess with people who prepare your food,
Yeah.
or you're gonna get the special sauce.
Yeah. Speaking of special sauce, yeah, I have a story about that. I'll tell you offline.
Oh,
Okay,
we can
Dylan.
share it with the patrons.
I got a scoop on a true crime story. And if there's any validity, now I know part of it is actually a real true story because I looked up the individual and the charges involved. But then
Okay.
there's another side of the story that is based on some speculation, but it comes from people who are in the know. So I have to believe there's some substance there.
Oh, so well, you're describing some kind of a scoop.
Yeah, so I
insider
got, well, that's what I
information.
said, is I got a bit of a scoop, and I've debated whether I should share with y'all, but it's kind of juicy, and I'm not going to name names, but I'm going to give you a rundown of what has happened. So I have a friend that works within an agency that knows the story and has shared it with me and was like, you can't use my name, and this is all just, whatevs, but I have a feeling this might evolve into a bigger story, so you may want to discuss it first. And I was like, okay. So then I debated about it, but I was like, you know what? This is kind of fucking crazy. So there's been a person, and like I said, I won't name names, who's been charged and arrested, and they are sitting in jail. I've looked up the mugshot, and I've looked up the charges, and they do have felony stalking, felony accessing computers, cyberbullying, communicating threats charges. So I know this part of the story is for real. So apparently this person was using accessing a public computer
Okay,
at
public
a
library.
county facility. Well, I wasn't even going to go that far, Dylan. But they are accessing a public computer from a county facility, okay? And they're using that computer to communicate threats, stalk, harass another person.
Online.
Yes.
Okay.
Which is one, that's stupid. Like, they're not going to be able to trace the IP address and know that it's this county computer, and they're not going to be able to figure out that you were the person who logged in and was using it. I mean, hello.
A lot of people think that's a way of getting some kind of form of anonymity in using the internet, and it just typically doesn't work
Yeah, well,
out.
typically you have to access that public computer using some sort of ID code, a PIN number that's assigned to you. It's
Right.
not like you can just go in and get on a computer and nobody knows who you are. So he was like, this person was harassing this other person. And according to my friend that's in the know, it was over some kind of like property issue because the victim in this was being harassed and stalked because their mother was this guy's neighbor, like elderly mother. So they were having some kind of neighborly conflict. He sets his sights on this person and starts harassing and stalking them. They're the victim, and it all relates to some sort of property dispute. So again, it goes back to these like horrible neighbor stories that we talk about. And so then, and I'm sure the victim was probably trying to stand up for their mother and be like, leave my mom alone
Well,
or
yeah.
whatever, right?
Who wouldn't? Just
When
chill.
you've got a younger person harassing an older person, I'm sure that there were probably some words spoken. But anyway, this moron decides to use a county computer to do all this shit. Well, now the word is that the perpetrator's mother can't be located and they think is missing. And now they're looking into that, and that the possible ties, the perpetrator may have had something to do with the missing mother. And I don't know, like I said, this is all alleged, but this is very juicy, and I can't wait to hear the rest of the story and to determine if that's real. Now, I know the charges, the stalking, harassing, all that is real. I've definitely, checked into that. But this missing mom part of the story, I don't know if that's true, but it'll be curious if that unfolds, because that would be like a major story in our area.
Right. And I was confused at first, and I'll try to be careful when you told me about this, but apparently the elderly mom has been missing and not contacted since before he went to jail.
I believe so.
Because he's in jail now.
The perpetrator has been arrested and is in jail, yes.
And now as they continue to not be able to locate mom, the victim.
The perpetrator's mother. So we don't know for sure if she's if she's just up and gone somewhere, or if he did something with her. In the midst of this neighborly dispute. Keep up, Dylan. Jeez.
You said the perpetrator's mother.
Yeah, the perpetrator's mother is missing, not the neighbor he's harassing. I mean, I've said this like 5 times. What part of that do you not wrap your head around? Maybe if you weren't over there playing on your fucking phone.
I'm not putting my phone's face down.
Dude, I don't know what you're over there doing, but you're dicking around and you're not listening. You're not making eye contact, and I can see you're totally checked out.
I'm not checked out.
You're over there thinking about your taxes or what you're going to have for lunch, so keep up. Our listeners can keep up. They're probably in the car right now like, damn, Dylan, why your wife got to bitch at you on the show? Because you stupid.
Well, you son of a bitch.
I'll draw you a diagram, Dylan.
Now hold on one second. Now hold on.
I'm gonna draw you a little diagram.
Do you have crayons?
Yeah, I've got a pen right here. I'm gonna draw the diagram so you can understand the story.
Only respond.
And I know I'm not using names, but that was the whole point, is because this is like allegedly, right? And it's not confirmed. Part of the story is confirmed, but not the other half. So I'm not like giving details out until I know the full story. But I just thought it was a juicy scoop. And if there is any validity to this missing mother part of the story, then this could be a really crazy true crime case. Right?
Cool story, bro. No, it's very interesting.
You're an asshole because you were like, you should tell people that.
No, look.
I debated. You know what? I'm done.
Okay.
You're a dick.
So, yeah, that's wild. See, you've told this story to me multiple times, and I never picked up that it was the perpetrator's mother that was missing. I thought
because
the whole
you're not
time,
an active listener, Dylan.
Okay. But either way, it's terrible and it's scary that anyone's missing. How do you like that? It's true, right?
Nice save.
And it was a pretty decent save. No, but this person seems unhinged to me. Anyone who stalks or harasses...
a menace, because, stalking and harassing somebody is... I mean, what's that... What are you accomplishing with that?
No, why are you putting that much effort in it? That's what bugs me about people who do that. And we've talked about it before. It is very, very dangerous behavior to even think like that. Right? So, yeah.
I don't know. You going to make fun of me some more for being like...
I ain't made fun of you. I just got berated on air. Okay? And so
I'm even telling the story when I'm the one that can't keep up.
I was trying to find one little story for the end of this. Okay? That's what I was doing. I wasn't dicking off, as you put it. I was doing something.
Look, put your hands on the table, okay? I don't like them in your lap. Like, again, I don't know what you're doing over there.
I have tight shorts on. I can't get to it.
I have another true crime story that is local to us here in Western North Carolina. So it is Appalachian True Crime. And this is out of Jackson County, North Carolina. A man has been sentenced to decades behind bars after a jury found him guilty of 7 child sex abuse charges, and teachers are credited with cracking the case.
Wow. The teachers saved the day.
Our local district attorney, Ashley Hornsby Welch, said it took jurors only 29 minutes to return a guilty verdict for 40-year-old Jonathan Micah Maney on the following charges. 1 count of statutory rape of a child under the age of 13 by an adult, 2 counts of statutory sex offense of a child under the age of 13, and 4 counts of indecent liberties with a child. According to a news release, the abuse started in 2014 when the child was only 9 years old.
Jesus Christ.
Assistant District Attorney Chris Matheson said that when the victim turned 14, that's when she confided with her teachers that she was suffering from anxiety and panic attacks because of this abuse. And that's when teachers contacted law enforcement.
And that's the way it's supposed to work. If a child reaches out for help, the worst thing that can happen to a poor victim, child victim like this, is to reach out for help and to not get the help. That just crushes what's left of their soul. If it be it a family member, a pastor, someone in church, someone in school, anybody official, that they think is going to help them and they don't get the help, that's the most horrible thing ever. So I commend these teachers for acting quickly. And according to those charges, I mean, there was a lot there. That was a lot. But what's messed up in my head is he won't get 100 years for that.
D.A. Welch credited the teachers with cracking the case and stopping the abuse and said, quote, "This young woman trusted them with the information about 3 horrific years of abuse. I cannot express strongly enough how important a role educators are playing in our children's lives. Sometimes it is life-saving." And again, Dylan, we don't give teachers enough credit in this nation.
Well, no.
People complain they make too much money. They're overpaid, which is hilarious.
That's not in North
They're
Carolina.
Underfunded. I just had to give my daughter money so her art teacher so they could get supplies because they have 0 art budget. And my daughter pointed out to the teacher, well, that's some bullshit when the football team gets brand new uniforms every year. But we have to buy our own art supplies because the art teacher has 0 budget, like can't even afford to buy the kids paint, pencils, construction paper, nothing. Like, how are you supposed to teach art when you don't have any materials?
I mean, you mean the supplies that you use to make art? That's crazy, right?
Right. I mean, how do you have an art program with 0 funding?
Well, look, every school in this country, it doesn't matter about region or anything, could be fully funded. Every VA hospital could be fully funded. It all could be because they're using fake money to do all this stuff anyway. So all it would take is the willpower to do it, and they don't do it on purpose. They shit on all of us. So there's that.
So the verdict came in exactly 3 years to the day from when she first reported this abuse. It's moved that slowly through, which I know COVID has really fucked up the justice system, and it's put a lot of delays.
We've heard of this
cases.
before COVID.
I know, but I'm just saying. I mean, we do know that the pandemic has played a role in some of these cases being delayed, like more so than they might have normally been. But the district attorney has also said that now with school back in session, they're already again hearing of child abuse reports because teachers are such an important person in these kids' lives, and school's only been back in session for like a week, and they're already getting reports of child abuse from kids to teachers
In this area?
Yeah.
Wow.
So he has been sentenced to a total of 51.3 years that he has to serve, and then a maximum of 72 years. So it's a 72-year sentence, but he has to serve, the minimum of 51 years.
How old's the teacher? 40-some years old?
Well, he's not a teacher,
I mean, how old is the abuser?
He's
I'm sorry.
40.
He's 40? He'll
See,
die.
Again, you don't keep up with stuff, and this is why I get
He'll die in
aggravated.
jail. So I'm surprised he got 51 years, let's be honest.
Well, good. Fuck him.
And he'll die in jail, so that's a good part there.
Set an example.
But my God, he's been raping this child since it was 9 years old. It should be death. It should be death. Tax money should not pay feed that guy for the rest of his life and give him dental care and health care. Well, you know what? All we can hope is that word gets out when he gets in jail, because I think that that still holds true. Molesters and rapists don't have a great time in jail. So hopefully the word will get out that this guy rapes children.
Are you hoping that someone kicks his ass?
I hope someone kills him.
Oh.
Yeah, I hope someone kills him.
Probably shouldn't say
I
that.
hope someone stabs him in his dick and he bleeds out in the shower. Oh, wait. Oh, no, even better. I hope someone rapes him anally and then stabs him in the dick.
You can't be advocating
Why?
for that because
He deserves
I
it.
feel like you can have that thought, but you probably shouldn't share it.
Well,
with
maybe
others.
not, but he deserves to be put in the position that his poor victim was all those years. Now, maybe that's strong, But I hope that's what happens to that guy.
Well, you know, Dylan, they say an eye for an eye makes the whole world go blind.
Yeah, well, yeah, okay, I'll stop. But
Yeah.
I still hope.
You're already in trouble because you can't listen.
What'd you say?
This is what happens when you're over there dicking off.
I'm not. Stop saying that.
Yep.
Because I have not done that, what you've claimed, all day. I've been just steady moving forward.
Yeah, because I have to tell you, like, you can't take an hour smoke break before it's time to do chores. Yeah, put your phone down. Put your phone down. We're not doing that.
I've just seen what time it is because I have to go get my stepdaughter from school. Okay, that makes me a piece of crap.
We have a good 20, 30 minutes before we have to pick her up.
Just plotting out my next smoke.
Oh, my gosh. See, exactly.
Okay.
Dylan.
Wow. Okay, folks.
You're killing me, Smalls.
Okay,
when do you
folks.
go back to work? See, the thought of you having some days off is like, oh, that's cool. But then when I'm actually here with you, I'm like, when are you going back to work?
Well, you see what I'm dealing with today. Heather's own one,
I'm not.
as they say.
I've just been stuck in the house with you for multiple days.
I think she might be slipping some sips of liquor or something. You've been hitting the jug.
Look, I started a low carb diet, okay, and I'm withdrawing from carbs and I'm withdrawing from sugar.
Yeah.
And somebody is about to get hurt, and that somebody could be you, okay? This is what happens when I don't have carbs. All I want is like a cheeseburger or a donut or something like that, okay?
Somebody get this bitch a donut. I'm doing the same thing.
So you're lucky.
I'm withdrawing from sugar as well, but
I haven't covered you up in some fucking chocolate sauce or something.
Jesus, this is real, isn't it?
Yeah, I really want.
You're like some type of way right now.
I just want some carbs.
Okay, so we'll let the listeners know we love them. Thank you for listening. You guys you all actually have us on track. We're pacing towards 1 million downloads.
That's badass.
It's a little ways off, but we never in 100 million years thought we could ever obtain such a goal. And we really appreciate you. And thank you for tuning in week after week.
It's true.
We're trying to get our schedule. We're get back on schedule. We're feeling good about it, feeling better about it. And Heather has some new things to do in the future. And we're just going to keep moving forward.
Man, if not for our listeners, I don't know where we would be.
They helped us get through the pandemic. You know how many...
They've been awesome, and they are the reason for the season. And I couldn't do all this without our listeners. And I don't feel the same way about you.
And that's fine. Okay, I'm not a patron.
Look, it's not Sunday yet. And when we drop Sunday's show, I told you I'd be nice to you the entire time. So you can be as dumb as you want to be on that episode, and I'm going to be so sweet to you. But see, we're not there yet.
Okay.
Okay?
You heard it. You heard it, folks. It's on the record.
Gosh.
All right, we hope everyone has a great rest of your week. And we can't wait to see what Heather has for us on our next Mountain Murders episode.
Yeah, we have a case that's, it's a fairly well-known case, but it's just so bizarre. We have to talk about it.
Okay, I can't wait.
Yeah, we're still in Maryland.
Nice. We're going to finish Maryland with a banger.
And then take it down to Georgia. As long as you don't frustrate me.
Oh, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter what I do. You're going to be sweet.
Well, this coming episode, but I'm just saying the days in between.
Okay. Let's not whip a dead horse. Let's wrap this thing up.
In a little package.
Yup.
Like your little package. Okay, bye.
Oh.